morning, I'm Kenneth Moten.
And I'm Antonita Collins. Here are the top 5 things to know this Tuesday. Number 1, history being made in Washington.
Democrats are planning to introduce at least 2 articles of impeachment this morning. They're expected to charge President Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress after laying out their case during Monday's explosive House hearing.
The news conference is expected at 9 Eastern Time this morning. We'll bring you live coverage here on ABC News Live. Number 2, the volcanic eruption in New Zealand. 9 Americans are among the injured and missing.
Authorities in New Zealand say those missing since the eruption are now presumed dead. Flights over the island are finding no sign of life.
5 people were already confirmed dead and dozens are still hospitalized. The tourist deaths are expected to be the subject of a criminal investigation.
On to number 3, new details this morning about the death of rapper Juice WRLD.
The 21-year-old died Sunday shortly after he and his entourage were searched at Chicago's Midway Airport. Investigators say a drug-sniffing dog led them to 41 bags of marijuana along with codeine and guns in their group's luggage.
The rapper went into convulsions during the search and was given the opioid antidote Narcan. An initial autopsy was inconclusive. Toxicology results are pending.
Number 4, the Golden Globes facing new criticism this year for once again failing to nominate any female filmmakers.
Women directed some of the most critically acclaimed films of the year, such as Hustlers, Booksmart, and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. But they were snubbed for an all-male lineup of nominees, including Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. Little Women was among the biggest shutouts. We spoke to Elizabeth Wagmeister, a senior correspondent at Variety magazine, about the controversy.
There were so many more films directed by women and great quality films. So a lot of these women were considered to be shoo-ins to land nominations. So when they didn't, the snub seemed even bigger.
In the 77-year history of the Golden Globes, only 5 women have been nominated for Best Director.
And finally, number 5, stealing mini shampoo bottles may be common, but some hotel guests are helping themselves to a lot more.
Yeah, people staying at luxury hotels have set their sights on much bigger things. A new survey finds more guests at 5-star hotels are making off with TVs, coffee makers, and even mattresses, dragging them to the elevator and sneaking them out.
But the survey found those high-end hotels are less likely to report the thefts because they don't want to be associated with any crime.
Interesting.
But there's nothing like a good 5-star hotel mattress that everyone has slept on for you to then go sell or sleep on yourself, right?
Maybe bed bugs.
But yeah. The mattresses, I actually don't even like to look at them or think about them in the hotel. I just like to know that they're comfortable when I'm lying there.
If there is any left, right?
Well, if someone's taking it, but you're like, who would take it? And they're most likely selling it. They're not sleeping on them, right?
Imagine dragging the mattress out of a hotel.
And the hotel, they've got to have the credit card on file, right?
Interesting.
That's crazy.
All right.
All right, let's get to that big story. House Democrats are planning to announce articles of impeachment against President Trump today.
After Monday's hearing summarizing their case for removing the president from office, sources say Democrats have narrowed everything down to at least 2 specific charges.
ABC's Serena Marshall has the new details from Washington. Serena, good morning.
Kenneth, Tony, once the articles are introduced, that would make Mr. Trump just the 4th president in American history to face an impeachment vote.
Obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. 2 impeachment charges against the president expected to be unveiled later this morning, sources tell ABC News. The charges are not yet finalized, but followed a late-night meeting Monday over Chinese food and a contentious 10-hour hearing.
Or the witness. Bang it harder. It still doesn't make the point that you're not doing it right.
Sharp cross-examination of a witness is not badgering the witness. The gentleman will continue.
Mr. Chairman.
It is if it's by another witness.
While Republicans continue to defend the president and criticize the process.
And it's outrageous that we're trying to remove a president with a kangaroo court like this.
And Democrats say this is about a clear violation of the president's oath of office.
He placed his own private interests ahead of our national security and the integrity of our elections and constitutes a continuing threat to the integrity of our elections and to our democratic system of government.
President Trump's persistent and continuing effort to coerce a foreign country to help him cheat to win an election is a clear and present danger to our free and fair elections.
The president still not participating in the House hearings, but admitting.
I did. I watched a little bit, very little. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to our country.
And while Monday's hearings did not lay out much new information, the charges announced this morning will ultimately come down to which side lawmakers fall on. When it comes to President Trump's words to Ukraine's president, will you do us a favor?
I don't think there's any other way to read the words on the page than to conclude that.
I don't think it supports that. I think it's ambiguous.
Democrats are expected to announce those articles at a press conference later this morning. It'll be followed by a vote in committee and a full floor vote likely to come next week. Kenneth, Tony.
Serena, once the House votes and if it goes as expected and President Trump is impeached, what happens next?
Well, the president will still be able to continue to govern. That is what happened in past presidents, and it's what is dictated by law, because the Senate is the body responsible for removing a president from office. Now, if the Senate does remove a president, that would be the first time in history. They've actually never done that before. But if they fail to convict, that means the president's legacy would effectively be marred by impeachment, but he would be able to serve out the remainder of his term, and he would be able to continue to run for office again in the future. Now, past presidents like Clinton and Johnson were impeached but not removed from office. Nixon actually never faced that impeachment vote because he resigned before they could vote.
All right, Serena, really breaking it down for us there. We know you guys got a busy morning ahead there in Washington, so I'm praying for you. Thanks, Serena.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it. ABC News will bring you live coverage of today's news conference on Capitol Hill beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern.
Turning now to the new report from the Justice Department's Inspector General, declaring the FBI's launch of the Russia investigation was justified and unbiased despite serious missteps.
But President Trump continued to slam the probe as a conspiracy, calling the findings dishonest. And an ABC News exclusive, FBI Director Christopher Wray agreed with the results from the independent watchdog, putting him at odds with the president and the Attorney General, who is disputing the report. ABC's Pierre Thomas has the details.
After years of President Trump calling it a deep state, saying the FBI was anti-Trump when it launched an investigation into possible ties between his campaign and Russia, the long-awaited independent report, the Justice Department's Inspector General, revealing there was no evidence of a witch hunt, determining the FBI had enough evidence pointing to either a federal crime or a threat to national security, or both, to justify the probe at the height of the election, and that the agents who made the final decision to launch the investigation were not influenced by political bias. The president has long said his campaign was illegally spied on, even suggesting former President Obama had wiretapped him.
It was illegal spying, unprecedented spying.
This was an attempted coup.
I would say that President Obama had to know about it.
But the Inspector General says FBI officials made serious errors and omissions in applying for surveillance warrants to monitor the communications of a Trump campaign associate, Carter Page, adding agents failed to meet the basic obligation to ensure the applications were scrupulously accurate. They did not tell DOJ attorneys about information that may have weakened their case for surveillance. The president pounced.
This was an overthrow of government. This was an attempted overthrow. And a lot of people were in on it.
But the president's hand-picked FBI director, Christopher Wray, saying there was no deep state.
As far as you know, based on the findings in the Inspector General report, is the FBI, was it part of some deep state?
Well, I think that's the kind of label that is a disservice to the 37,000 men and women who work at the FBI. That's not a term I would ever use to describe our workforce, and I think it's an affront to them.
The president's defenders have accused FBI agents of conspiring against him, pointing to anti-Trump text messages. But the IG report also found other agents exchanging pro-Trump messages at the same time, and later celebrating the 2016 election.
Do you have any evidence that the FBI targeted the Trump campaign unfairly?
I don't.
But Wray acknowledges mistakes were made.
There are actions described in this report that I consider unacceptable and unrepresentative of. I am ordering over 40 corrective actions to address all of those things in a way that's robust and serious. And we're determined to learn the lessons from this report and make sure the FBI emerges from this even better and stronger.
Attorney General Barr is blasting the Russia probe's origins, saying the Justice Department and the FBI launched an intrusive investigation of a U.S. presidential campaign on the thinnest of suspicions that were insufficient to justify the steps taken. Barr has launched a separate investigation that is now criminal. But the FBI director telling me he agrees with the IG's finding that the launch was in fact legal. Pierre Thomas, ABC News at FBI headquarters.
The Supreme Court is leaving a contested abortion law in place in Kentucky without offering an explanation or dissent.
The justices declined to review the law, which requires providers to display and describe fetal ultrasounds to women seeking abortions and also to play audio of the fetal heartbeat. The ACLU had challenged the law on behalf of Kentucky's only remaining abortion clinic.
The FBI says it's found no link between a cyber attack on the city of Pensacola, Florida, and the attack at the Naval Air Station there. City officials became aware of the cyber attack early Saturday, just hours after 3 sailors were killed. They say the city's email and other electronic services will be down indefinitely. Meantime, investigators believe the Saudi Air Force member behind the shootings posted an anti-American rant quoting Osama bin Laden on Twitter shortly before the attack. And sources say he filed a complaint in April against an instructor who, he said, mocked his mustache.
Switching gears, White Castle is recalling several varieties of its famous sliders. The recall includes both hamburgers and cheeseburgers in packages with Best By dates in August of next year. It was announced because of a possible listeria contamination. There have been no reported illnesses. There's more information at our website.
New video from Alaska. A snowboarder's camera captures the moment he was caught in a mini avalanche, just as scary as a whole avalanche. It happened Sunday in Hatcher's Pass, about 40 miles outside of Anchorage. After he was partially buried, he signaled to a friend at the top of the mountain that he was all good. The man was wearing an avalanche airbag. He says it saved his life. In sports, the Patriots are denying new allegations of cheating after videotaping the sideline of the Cincinnati Bengals game Sunday. The team admits the video crew broke a league rule by filming the sidelines during the Bengals game in Cleveland, but the team says the crew was made up of independent contractors working on a web series for the Patriots about the team's scouting department. Those scouts were watching the Bengals because they face the Patriots this weekend. The league is now investigating.
If the Patriots are admitting in their statement that they violated a rule, even inadvertently, then yes, you would have to think that the league has to do at least something. Now, when they were caught doing illegal videotaping in 2007, they were punished severely.
But wait, there's more. The Patriots got permission from the Browns to shoot the video, but did not inform the Bengals or the league. The team calls that a, quote, unintended oversight. Miss Tony Collins.
About timing, too, right? Well, they're playing the Bengals next, so.
Yeah. But you give them the benefit of the doubt.
I do. I mean, they wouldn't do that too bluntly. And plus, they did turn the videos into to the Browns and to the NFL, so it's not like they kept it and, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
They would never deflate footballs.
Or Spygate.
They would never Spygate 1.0. This is 2.0. 1.0 a few years ago. They wouldn't.
No.
Never.
No.
Never.
We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Bill Belichick.
Never.
You know what you're doing.
All right, well, coming up, one man's vendetta against people faking the need for emotional support animals. See how he's fighting back.
But first, the deadly volcanic eruption in New Zealand. New video shows the power of the explosion. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We turn now to the deadly volcanic eruption in New Zealand. Overnight, we learned 9 Americans are among the injured and missing. Authorities are now launching a criminal investigation. This morning, that volcano in New Zealand still smoking more than 1 day after it erupted, killing at least 5 people. 8 others are unaccounted for and presumed dead. New video shows the moments after the volcanic blast on White Island sent ash soaring 12,000 feet into the air. This webcam image shows a group of people inside the crater, taken just minutes before the eruption. Rescue helicopters raced to the island soon after the volcano erupted, bringing some of the injured back to shore for treatment. These newlyweds from Virginia were among the 9 Americans who were on the island at the time. According to Inside Edition, Matthew Uray left this voicemail for his mother.
This isn't a joke. The volcano actually erupted while we were on the island. Lynn and I got pretty badly burned, so we're at a hospital in New Zealand. My hands are burned, so I can't use my phone.
The volcano on the privately owned island has long been known as unpredictable, and scientists recently reported an increase in gases and small tremors, leaving many demanding answers to why tourists were allowed to climb it.
It was a relatively small explosion, and the reason why it turned deadly was not because of how large it was because of how close the people were to where the explosion occurred.
And now authorities in New Zealand have launched a criminal investigation focusing on the circumstances of the deaths from the eruption.
We'll look into if there's anyone criminally responsible for the deaths and injuries. It's early days yet, so we're just going to have to work through the evidence, talk to people, and conduct the investigation.
Authorities say the island is too unstable to begin efforts to find those 8 missing people. They say there's a 50% chance the volcano could erupt again in the next 24 hours.
Now to some news breaking overnight. Chile's Air Force says one of its transport planes has been lost on its way to Antarctica. They declare the flight lost at sea and have begun air and sea rescue operations. Let's go across the pond to Julia McFarlane in the London Bureau for more. Julia, good morning.
Morning, Tony. Yeah, it does not look good for the passengers who were on board this plane. It was a C-130 Hercules aircraft, and it is believed that most of the people on board were from the Chilean Air Force. Now, it was a trip headed to a base on Antarctica, and most of the people on board were going to carry out some maintenance and logistical work, but there were 2 private contractors and a university student who were also on board that flight. Now, officials say that they lost communications with the aircraft around just after 6 o'clock local time. They are now searching the area where the plane lost contact, hoping to find some survivors. But guys, the water there is absolutely freezing and frigid, and there is very little hope that they'll be able to find any survivors. But the president, Sebastián Piñera, is heading to a monitoring area where he can be updated on the situation with the defense minister.
All right, yeah, we'll stay on top of that as well. Moving on, Julia, to you and a big scoop you got yesterday. I saw you tweeting about this. Great job by you and the work you're doing over there from our London Bureau. Let's catch people up on this, that on that big scoop yesterday that shouldn't be lost amid the impeachment hearing and the release of the Inspector General report. The former British intelligence officer behind the controversial dossier that alleged links between the Trump campaign and Russia. Apparently he met Ivanka Trump years before the Russia scandal.
Right, how is this for a plot twist? All the way back in 2007, when Christopher Steele was still an active duty intelligence officer for the British Intelligence Secret Service, MI6, actually known as SIS, he met the president's daughter Ivanka Trump at a dinner in London. The two exchanged contact information and they stayed in touch over the years. And in 2010, Christopher Steele, the author of the Russia dossier, he was invited to Trump Tower in New York to have a meeting with Ivanka Trump, who was the vice president of the Trump Organization, to discuss possible work that he could do for the company. Now, Ivanka was in charge of a number of portfolios concerning real estate and other business ventures abroad overseas. And so she was thinking of tapping up Chris Steele's network to try and do some due diligence on some potential business partners that they were going to go into. Now, they didn't actually end up going into business together, but in the Inspector General's report that was released yesterday, DOJ investigators wrote that Steele told them that despite allegations that he was biased against President Trump from the start, if anything, he was favorably disposed to be positive towards the Trumps because of his friendship with Ivanka, so much so that he revealed that he had given her a gift, some family tartan from Scotland a few years ago.
Just fascinating. And I think about this, Julia, and the fact that this Steele dossier has been really at the center of all this with the Russia investigation for the past, 2-3 years now. And we've been reporting on it. And now this, I think, is a crucial and critical detail is just now coming out. Obviously, you were able to uncover this, find out this, confirm it. But at this point, at this time, I mean, why are we learning about this now?
Well, I mean, he's a former intelligence officer. You can expect that he's pretty good at keeping secrets. But what's been really interesting is that Ivanka Trump has never once mentioned that she actually knows this man who caused a huge amount of controversy for her father, for the president. And Steele himself has been a target of attacks by the president and by the president's allies. He's been referred to as a failed spy, a phony spy, dopey Christopher. One presidential Steele tweet a few months ago. I have to say, we have pursued the White House, the Trump Organization, Ivanka's attorneys, all of them for comment. They have not provided us with a comment yet. We've also asked Steele's attorney and a representative for his business firm to comment on our story, but they're also staying pretty mum.
Yeah, fascinating there. And again, good work by you on getting that scoop there, Julia.
Speaking of scoops.
Nice segue. She's been here for a couple of days, Julia.
Nice transition, Tony.
Really serious news right here. Before you go, if you're a guacamole lover, get excited because longer-lasting avocados are coming your way. A technology that extends the shelf life of avocados has made its way across the pond.
Okay.
Have you heard about this, Julia?
Well, yeah, what are your sources telling you about this one, Julia?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. This is an American company that is backed by the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they have come up with this edible spray, which you cover the avocados with them. It's safe to eat, so there's no worry about the chemical accidentally ingesting the chemicals. Although I have to say, I don't think you should eat the avocado peel. I don't think that's what it's meant for. But what it does is it keeps oxygen in, and it helps the avocados last longer, and it stops them from going brown bad sooner. Now, I think this is really, really interesting, but I don't know about you guys, but for me, the timeline of an avocado is not ready, not ready, not ready, not ready, not ready, ready off. So if it extends the shelf life, is it the ready window that gets extended or the ripeness? Because that is the main issue I have with avocados. So I want to try this out.
It has to happen at the perfect time. The perfect time.
Small window.
I will try to not vacuum seal, but just put it in something where the air won't really get to it after I open up the half. And it's very tough.
Like all avocado aficionados, millennials like myself, I have a very, very well-structured avocado rotation scheme where I'm constantly buying avocados, and by the time one is ripe, I've got the rest of them in a line waiting. So that is the way to do it.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I definitely learned that if you want it ripe faster, leave it out of the fridge. Yeah. I actually put mine in the fridge. So that's my non-millennial.
That's probably where you're going wrong.
These are avocado specialists.
Put them in the bowl. When they're hard, put them in the bowl by the window. That's what I do.
Okay, go ahead and boomer me. Go for it. All right, friend. Go eat your avocado toast. You're done.
Will do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tony.
Bye, guys.
Let's check our notifications now, starting with an Arizona man taking a stand against emotional support pets. He has registered a beehive as a support animal. David Keller says he did it to show too many people are faking their need for psychological help from four or two-legged friends.
He also wanted to highlight the fact that emotional support animals do not need to be registered anywhere. They do have to be medically recommended.
We will see what happens with his awareness campaign there, because they might just say, okay, sir, you need a bee, buzz away.
Have you seen crazy emotional support animals?
No, you know what? I haven't really. I've only, seen the regular, dogs.
I had a girl in college, a roommate, that she had a hedgehog. I'm like, how does that?
Yeah, the only hedgehog I had for emotional support was
too.
Sonic.
I just thought about that.
Yeah.
I did see a pig, but they took him off the plane.
Oh. Did he oink it up on the plane?
He did.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Hey, next we've been talking about that expensive piece of art, the $120,000 banana duct taped to the wall.
Oh, man.
What could top that? What about a Popeye's chicken sandwich? This also happened at that same Art Basel Miami festival down there.
I'd eat that.
This one probably, apparently this one costs like $20,000 and $399.
That blows my mind. That is insane. Would you pay that?
No.
No, we talked about this,
Definitely not.
And check this out. Even the pigeons in Las Vegas are ready to party. These birds were spotted wearing, those little cowboy hats.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, Lil Nas X is inspiring everyone. Everybody wants to put on a little cowboy hat.
I know, but now people are like a little bit against it, because that's
right. The
pigeons.
The activists say, look, they're hurting them. But I said, look, they're used to carrying messages in a bottle, from a bottle, right?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
And finally, it seems that we really cannot get enough of Baby Yoda.
We cannot.
Trademarked, of course, by our parent company, Disney, now a diehard Star Wars fan has launched an online petition for Baby Yoda to have his own emoji.
That online petition on change.org at this hour has racked up more than 1,500 signatures. That is our question of the day. If you could add any emoji, what would it be? Baby Yoda? Tell us what you would want in the comments or tweet us at ABC News Live. It can be an emoji of something that's important to you, something that's popular, pop culture style. Yeah, that's fun. I like that. Baby Yoda.
I love it.
Hey, coming up, a busy day ahead. We'll tell you what to watch out for.
Plus, the big honor for soccer star Megan Rapinoe after this.
Here's what to watch out for today. Democrats are planning to introduce at least 2 articles of impeachment this morning, expected to focus on abuse of power and obstruction after laying out their case in an explosive House hearing. We'll have live coverage at 9 o'clock Eastern.
President Trump is scheduled to meet with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov just a day after the Justice Department's internal watchdog found that the FBI was justified in opening its investigation into ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. After the meeting, President Trump will head to Hershey, Pennsylvania for a campaign rally.
Meanwhile, Democrats running for president are on the campaign trail. Senator Elizabeth Warren, former Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders are set to hold events in Nevada, and former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg will be in Madrid, Spain to speak at the United Nations Climate Conference.
Plus, don't forget to tune in to the debrief for an update on all our top stories and the briefing room for a breakdown of the latest headlines in politics. Finally, from us this morning in high school, Megan Rapinoe was voted most likely to be famous. Now, the captain of the World Cup champion U.S. women's soccer team is Sports Illustrated's Sportperson of 2019.
Rapinoe is only the 4th woman to receive the honor on her own. In 66 years, it comes at the end of a year where she and her teammates won their 2nd straight title, battled the U.S. Soccer Federation for equal pay, and Rapinoe herself had a social media fight with President Trump. But she is the sports person of the year.
Well deserved as well. You know, that World Cup catapulted them, and she's using her platform for the issues that she cares about and to hopefully make a difference and inspire others to do so. So
she has taught me so much, this Tony Collins, in the past couple of days. A lot about sports, things I didn't know.
You're thrilled. You sound thrilled.
No, I am. No, these are incredible women, and I'm glad we also have this incredible woman here as well.
Thank you.
Filling in for Janae Norman, who's back tomorrow, but it's been great to have you here, friend. I hope you had a lot of fun here on It's Morning America.
I did. Thank you for everything. You guys are awesome, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.
You will.
All right.
If I have anything to do with it, and I do. All right, y'all. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.